Friends, in this video we are going to write SQL query to get the total balance for each customer. Total balance meaning we need to add the actual balance amount and the balance from the loans account. If you look at the database diagram, here we have customers table, accounts table and loans table. Customers and accounts table are related on the customer ID, whereas the customers and loans table are related on customer ID. So we use these three tables to get the required information. We need to sum this balance from the accounts table and loan amount from the loans table. Before we write the query, we need to know few things, that is about correlated subquery. So this is one type of subquery where inner query is dependent on the outer query. In a normal subquery, inner query can be executed individually and outer query can be executed individually. Whereas in the correlated subquery, the inner query is always dependent on the outer query. So this cannot be, inner query cannot be executed separately in case of correlated subquery. So I will explain more about this while writing the query. And another thing is Coalesce function. So Coalesce function is used to handle the null values. If you look at this syntax here, Coalesce argument 1 column 2 column 3. So like this we can provide the arguments inside the Coalesce function. So this function returns the non-null expression in the list of values. First non-null expression it will return. So which means if the column 1 is not null, then that will be given as the result. If column 1 is null, then it will go for column 2 and check if it is null or not null. If column 2 is also null, then it will go for column 3 and check if it is null or not null. If it is not null, then column 3 will be given as a result. If column 1 itself is not null, then it will give the column 1 itself as a result. It will not consider the column 2 and column 3. Let us write the query now. Select, we need customer ID, so c dot customer underscore ID comma c dot customer name. So we will get account ID from the accounts table and balance value from accounts table a dot balance from customers C join accounts A on C dot customer underscore ID is equal to A dot customer underscore ID. So let me execute this query. So we have an error saying, so it is account ID not accounts ID. So we have customer ID, customer name, account ID and balance. So we need to aggregate this data because one customer can have two different types of accounts, maybe savings, takings account, like that. So we will aggregate, group the data on customer ID and get the total amount. For example, John died showing 1000 and 2000. He have in two different accounts. So we need to show it as a total balance. Okay, so let us aggregate the balance, that is sum of a dot balance. So we need to add a group by function as we are aggregating the data. Group by customer ID, customer name and account ID, whatever the remaining fields present in the select statement. Okay, now that we have the total amount for each customer, total balance amount present for each customer, we need to add the balance from the loans table. So to add the balance from the loans table, plus select L dot loan underscore amount from loans L, where L dot customer ID is equal to C dot customer underscore ID. So this is the inner query. So the inner query is dependent on outer query customer ID. So whenever the outer query executes, for every row, the inner query will be executed. For example, for the outer query is running for the first customer ID, so the same ID will be passed to the inner query and the result will be given. Like that, if if the outer query is having the 15 records, if it has to execute for 15 records, each time the outer query executes, it will be passed to the inner query, and that query will be executed 15 times as well. So when the query is processing for the second row for customer ID 2, the same customer ID will be passed to the inner query, and then matches with the loans table L dot customer ID. It matches with the whatever the customer ID passing from the outer query, it matches with the loans table and give the loan amount for customer ID 2. Okay, let me execute now. Select. Yeah, if you see here, we are getting null values for the customers, few customers, because so summing up of null and the actual value will gives us the null, because these customers 11, 12, 13, they do not have the loan account. So when they don't have the loan account, this inner query returns null. So to handle this null value, we can use Coalesce function. So the Coalesce function, as I have explained before, it will return the first non-null expression. Okay, so we can make nulls to return 0. So Coalesce of, so if this first expression is null, then it will check the second argument. So second argument is 0, which is not null. If the first argument is null, then it returns the second argument, that is 0. So if you run this query now, so you don't see the null values in the balance amount. And also we need to add one more where condition, because we cannot consider the balance amount if the loan is settled. Okay, so for that we need to take only the loans which are active. Okay, so let's add and condition, and L dot loan underscore status is equal to active. Okay, and give alias as total balance. So this is the total balance including the loan amount.